Hello YouTube, Freddie Cardona here, back again with another Driving and the News video. We're currently on Main Street in Paterson, New Jersey, as I go past the cathedral. I want to thank all of the viewers that are viewing these videos, the Driving and the News videos. It's not as many as the Pride in Paterson videos. However, I appreciate every single one of you guys, because we're recording history is what we're doing. The reason we do these is because if someone is watching YouTube 10 years from now, 12 years from now, they can go back, if YouTube is still a thing, and check any specific day that might have been uploaded and see what was going on in the news that day. So that's why I'm doing Driving and the News, and why I try to upload as many days as possible. And let's go to the news.
Improvement came for. Yeah, those, 2 days of this, that's a lot, and we will get there. The improvement is coming. It will come with some drier air that starts to push in later on for tonight, and then tomorrow and the end of the weekend look great. Just a little reduction in temperatures after some mild stuff tomorrow. Today, it is the murkiness, and it's not going anywhere fast here, friends. With the mild temperatures, the fog thick in some places, not as terrible as it was at this hour yesterday. So LaGuardia at about an eighth of a mile visibility could be impacting places there. JFK, though, is back up to about 3 miles. So in a lot of cases, we're getting better in terms of ground fog. We're going to keep that low-level cloud situation all day. It's going to mist or sprinkle, maybe a shower by the end.
Looks like there's a little bit of trouble with the transmission.
This afternoon. Then the drier air winds tonight. Temperatures will end up down to 56 at the start of the morning tomorrow in the city. Closer to 50 in the suburbs. A beautiful, breezy, gorgeous day tomorrow. Upper 60s with sunshine. And then that wind turns, brings cooler temperatures to bear. 40s tomorrow night. Back up to the upper 50s Friday. Right now, the weekend, seasonable. For late October, low 60s. Both days, Saturday and Sunday, look nice. 64 in the clouds and the fog, going up to near 70. I'm Anki with the meteorologist Steve DeVore, New York's weather station, 1010 winds. Are you the owner or manager of a New York City building that's over 25,000 gross square feet? Local Law 97 could mean annual fines for you if you don't comply with carbon emissions limits by 2024. NYC Accelerator offers free advice on energy efficiency and renewable energy upgrades, so you can turn compliance into cost savings. Don't miss out. Contact us today at accelerator.nyc/local law 97. Lock in your seats for Sunday, October 30th at 1 p.m. when the New York Jets host division rivals, the New England Patriots, presented by the New Jersey Lottery. Fans at MetLife Stadium will also celebrate Jets legend DeBrickashaw Ferguson's induction into the Ring of Honor, presented by Webster Bank. Visit nyjets.com/tickets to get your tickets today. Once again, that's nyjets.com/tickets. For groups of 10 or more, call 973-549-4590.
Gain presents a tale of longing and long-lasting scent. Dear love of my life, we were on the 12B bus when I caught a whiff. A scent so fresh, so life-changing, I had to find its source. I didn't know if you were the woman in the pink freshly washed cardigan or the retired mailman next to me, but I knew one of you was my soulmate. Ah, the scent of Gain Flings. Add Gain scent beads for an even longer lasting scent.
Let me guess. Unknown caller? You can reduce the number of unwanted calls and emails with online privacy protection. The latest innovation from Discover will help regularly remove your personal info, like your name and address, from 10 popular people search websites that could sell your data. And we'll do it for free. Activate in the Discover app. See terms and learn more at discover.com/online privacy protection.
Wednesday, Sunday, 8/16. Some state lawmakers and climate advocates will get together today to propose that all new buildings in New York be heated with electricity only, no gas, no oil. Proponents say with soaring oil prices, it'll save money, but Alex Beauchamp of Food and Water Watch says it's really about the environment.
People don't think about it, but buildings are the single biggest source of greenhouse gas emissions throughout New York State. And it's something that we really haven't done much as a state to address. So the single simplest thing we could do is stop building new buildings powered by fossil fuels.
Critics point out a majority of electricity is still generated by fossil fuels. The proposal comes as utilities warn of major increases in heating bills this winter. Con Ed estimates the increase at 32%. National Grid is saying 39%. Men and women are different in some regards, even when they're Marines. And a new $2 million study finds that Marines of different genders suffer different kinds of injuries.
The Independent Marine Corps Times says the study found dramatic differences in the number and type of injuries among the genders. 60% of the women studied suffered some kind of an injury during the 13-week intense training. Among men, the injury rate was half that. The most frequently injured body part for women was the hip. For men, the knee. Researchers say a focus on proper exercise progression and technique could reduce injuries. They found that's often absent in training.
Correspondent Christopher Cruz, women make up about 9% of the Marine Corps. Well, we have our problems around here, but at least we don't have this problem. There's really no way you're going to wake up around here and find that you can't get out of your house because it's buried in tumbleweed. It happened to Marley's Gross, but she lives in Fountain, Colorado, where they do have tumbleweed and lots of it.
We still can't walk anywhere. I don't know what we're going to do, how we get rid of those tumbleweeds. Oh, it's horrible.
Neighbors spent hours clearing away the tumbleweed, but the wind pushed it all right back into position.
You kind of almost, you feel helpless. I thought it was a bad dream.
And finally, she called a junk removal company. It's not what they normally do, but they got the job done. So if your house is ever buried in tumbleweed, you know who to call. It's hard to get straight answers on a lot of things these days, and you can add to that list the ratings for Thursday Night Football.
It should be a simple enough question. How many people watched last Thursday's NFL clash between New Orleans and Arizona? The answer depends on who you ask. By Nielsen's count, 7.8 million people watched Amazon Prime's coverage of the game, but Amazon, it says 8.9 million people tuned in. Which number is right? Well, we may never know. Nielsen has a formula that determines ratings based on a limited sample, but Amazon says it has an actual count of every one of its subscribers who screens the broadcast and not an estimate. I'm Oscar Wells Gabriel.
It's 64 degrees and cloudy. We're going up to 70 in Midtown today. Wednesday news time, 8:19.
This Investors Minute is brought to you by Merrill Lynch. Investors are increasingly putting their money into companies that meet values regarding the environment, social causes, and corporate governance. PricewaterhouseCoopers reports that global ESG-related assets are expected to double to nearly $34 trillion by 2026. PwC says 9 out of 10 asset managers surveyed believe that integrating ESG into their investment strategy will improve overall returns.
No one knows where this market will go. Right now, it feels like a wild ride. But one thing's for certain, there's a way through it. And the experience and guidance of a Merrill advisor can help you get there. Because where there's a bull, there's a way. Find an advisor in New York City at ml.com/publish.
Merrill, a Bank of America company. What would you like the power to do?
Investing involves risk. Merrill Lynch, Pierce, Fenner & Smith Incorporated, registered broker-dealer, registered investment advisor. Member SIPC, a wholly owned subsidiary of Bank of America Corp.
Starting tomorrow at 9 a.m., you'll be able to hear 1010 Wins in crystal clear audio on 92.3 FM.
All news, all the time. This is 1010 Wins. You give us 22 minutes, we'll give you the world.
Good morning, 64 degrees, 8:20. It's Wednesday, October 26th. I'm Lee Harris, and here's what's happening. Crime, abortion, and the riot at the Capitol were the main topics as Kathy Hochul and Lee Zeldin squared off last night in their first and only debate. Cops on Staten Island looking for 5 people who were wearing ski masks when at least one of them opened fire outside Tottenville High School. A 14-year-old was wounded. 10 years after Superstorm Sandy, the MTA is still recovering, and Senator Gillibrand wants more money to harden the MTA's infrastructure against future storms. A number of cops from Manhattan North Narcotics under investigation for allegedly getting drunk at a Labor Day music festival on Randall's Island. And tonight's Powerball jackpot is up to $100 billion. Well, no, just $700 million. Sports, the Devils won. The Rangers lost in a shootout. 10-10 Wins, AccuWeather. Cloudy again today, some drizzle, maybe a heavier shower later in the day, but on the warm side, we'll have a high of 70. is news time, 8:21. Now it's traffic and transit from Karen Stewart.
All right, here's the Hudson numbers. What you need to know about the Richardson Tunnel. We'll start with the bad news first. The inbound side of the Holland Tunnel has an hour 15-minute delay. The inbound Lincoln is 45, and the inbound side of the GW Bridge, that's got a 30-minute wait. Now, over the East River, if you're heading inbound to the RFK Bridge, the RFK is slammed into the Upper East Side. We've got delays out of Queens that start on the VQE west leg, and then we're jammed over the span. We've got Upper East Side delays that are very, very heavy. Actually jammed through most of the ride on the Harlem River Drive southbound from the high 130s down to about 116th Street or so. The inbound 59th Street Bridge, some moderately heavy traffic. The Queens Midtown Tunnel's worse. It's jammed back to Greenpoint Avenue on the LIE West. The Williamsburg is jammed, very, very heavy in and outbound at the Brooklyn Battery Tunnel. And the inbound Gowanus to the VQE eastbound is slammed from Fort Hamilton Parkway. Ooh, that hurts. Up into Atlantic Avenue. We are also jammed right now over on the Bell Parkway. The Bell Parkway's got a huge mess here as we deal with an accident over on the westbound side, right before Fountain Avenue near Erskine Street. The westbound delays start back at Springfield Boulevard, and the eastbound delays go all the way back to Flatbush Avenue. Alternate side parking rules and regulations, they are in effect, and traffic is sponsored by Cars for Kids. I'm Karen Stewart, and your next report's 8:31 on 1010 Wins. Don't waste your time trying to sell your old car. Donate it to Cars for Kids. It's the easiest and fastest way to donate your car and get a tax deduction. Donate online at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K.
Donate your car today.
If you missed last night's debate between Kathy Hochul and Lee Zeldin on New York 1, you missed them all, and that was the only debate scheduled. It took place at Pace University, and Samantha Liebman is on the Pace campus this morning with the wrap-up, Sam.
The debate comes with Election Day less than 2 weeks away. Governor Hochul touted her sweeping gun legislation.
You can either work on keeping people scared, or you can focus on keeping them safe. I have worked hard to have real policies for making a difference.
Republican Congressman Lee Zeldin reiterating his intention to get rid of cashless bail, even when confronted with statistics showing it made no difference in crime.
Kathy Hochul believes that the only crimes that are being committed are these crimes with guns. And you got people who are afraid of being pushed in front of oncoming subway cars. They're being stabbed, beaten to death on the street with hammers.
The debate also touched on abortion, taxes, and vaccines. Governor Hochul saying she doesn't intend to require the COVID vaccine in school, but Zeldin jumped on her remarks saying she'd institute a healthcare worker mandate again. Samantha Liebman, 1010 Wins in Lower Manhattan.
1010 Wins election coverage is sponsored by AARP New York at voting information you can trust at aarp.org/nyvotes. Gunfire outside Tottenville High School on Staten Island yesterday. A 14-year-old boy was shot in the ankle.
5 guys wearing ski masks were outside the school. At least one of them fired 5 to 7 shots. Police not sure of a motive or if the 14-year-old victim was the intended target.
He's social, he has good grades, he always helps his friends, he's a very sweet boy.
Sophia says she's still in shock. She was inside the school at the time.
People started rushing out, like telling us to get down and closing all the windows, and I was like, what's happening? Is this like a drill, like normal? And they went on a loudspeaker and said, this is a shelter and it's not a drill.
Staten Island Borough President Vito Pasella says the shooting is a tragedy.
There's a young family that had their son shot.
Roger Stern, 1010 Wins outside Tottenville High School on Staten Island.
Police have now located video of the shooting and the suspects, and we will put that up at 1010wins.com. The Devils and the Rangers played hockey last night with decidedly different outcomes, as Mark Ernay is here to recount this morning. Mark?
Yeah, Lee, the Jersey boys were 6-2 winners in Detroit, where they scored 2 goals in every period, and Jesper Bratt led the way with a couple of his own.
Yeah, obviously it's good. It's good for the whole group and for the confidence of the group. And I feel like every game we have almost been out for around 40 shots.
Meantime, the Blue Shirts had 46 shots at the Garden, but former Ranger Alexander Georgiev stopped 44 of them as Gerard Gallant's guys lost to Colorado 3-2 in a shootout.
They played really fast, and no surprise. We talked about that before the game, and the guys, they know this Stanley Cup championship, quick and fast team. They're built like that, and I thought it brought us into the battle more in the second and third period for sure.
The Rangers came back from 1-0 and 2-1 down, while Igor Shesterkin made 42 saves in defeat. Mark Ernay, 1010 Wins Sports.
64 degrees, it's cloudy in New York, and we're going up to 67 in Midtown today. Now this, Value Care is expanding. If you're an RN, LPN, or home health aide, apply at valuecareinc.com. Now Bloomberg Money Watch on 1010 Wins, sponsored by Renewal by Anderson. Here's Steve Fotis.
So,
So is the robot apocalypse finally here? Well, for some jobs, Lee, it may just be. Sales of professional service robots rose last year, up 32% in North America. According to the International Federation of Robotics, sales of new customer service robots grew by 9%. IFR says the robots can be found at warehouses, in hospitals and airports, or even helping on dairy farms automatically milking cows. Tech stocks are tumbling in pre-market trading after some of the industry's biggest names reported disappointing results. Microsoft posted its weakest quarterly sales growth in 5 years. Alphabet's search business sales fell shy of estimates as inflation crimped growth in digital advertising. So right now, S&P futures, they're down 31 points. NASDAQ in the red, 214. Dow futures are down 76. Bloomberg Money Watch at 26 and 56 past every hour. I'm Steve Otis for 1010 Wins.
Wow. All right, there you go. That's the news for October 26th, 2022. And what's really odd is that the only thing I took away besides the shootings and the sports and the governor's race is that robots are taking over jobs. There's something that in the 50s and 40s was part of the science fiction genre of robots taking over jobs. All right, guys, thank you so much for this edition of Driving in the News, and we'll see you on the next video.